What's going on, guys? RC Conference Room here. Today we're going to be talking about or I'm going to be reviewing the HPI Savage X. Um, I've had a little bit of a bad luck with this car. All of them were my fault. The first one was the engine. I had a problem getting it started, and a big part of it was trying to break it in the cold. It was like 25 degrees to 30 degrees when I broke it in. I'll turn this down. So what happened is that the engine didn't get a proper break in, and I started driving it fast after, pretty much immediately after the last tank of break in. They asked for 2 idle tanks and then 2 driving in circle tanks, half throttle, which is fine. I'm not expecting this engine to last very long. I didn't check the idle gap one time, and it took off on its own, and that's the story of that engine blowing up. Whole bottom end was dead. The top end was fine, but the very top of the cylinder was dead. I don't know how that happened, because there was absolutely no... The whole cylinder is fine up until the top. Not up in the cooling head, but the very top. It's like the piston moved. I don't understand how it got that, but... So the engine died. I got a new engine. Cost me $170. Broke it in, and it's still running. I mean, it's still pretty good. I haven't pulled the pull starter in like a couple of weeks now. I just wanted to make sure everything was still moving in there. The engine, if you buy a replacement engine, it'll come with a pull starter. I recommend getting a new pull starter right away. The one that it comes with is kind of cheap. It'll get you started, but I recommend getting another one. The engine makes plenty of power for the car. It's a 4.6. I honestly recommend getting this engine for a replacement engine. If this one goes bad on you, I'd recommend this engine highly. You can get the 5.9, but it could be a bit of a hassle tuning it and getting the right RPM range on the 2-speed. The car performs great. It pulls wheelies. The brakes are decent out of the box. After they get used a few times, you're going to want to go ahead and put the fuel line on there. I'll go over that in the second part of this video. Let's go over the features that the car comes with. It comes with 17mm wheels all around, not the size, but the hex size. I don't know what size these are, but these tires are great. They do great on road. They don't slide around. It gets great grip everywhere. I've driven them on road, and as you can see, there's very little wear on them. I just couldn't ask for better tires on an RTR. If you're doing a lot of on-road speed runs, I'd always recommend picking up a pair of on-road tires if you're really into that kind of stuff. But for this car, these tires are great for the average daily RC or the weekend warrior like I am. The pipe on this thing is great. I bored it out a bit with some sandpaper, just a little bit. It makes it run so much better. It starts better. It already starts pretty good. I mean, I had this thing start on one of these little pops like that. It popped and it started. I was like, wow. That happened because the piston was already almost at top dead center. It already had fuel in it. And when it, yeah, I'll go over how these engines run later. It comes with a great exhaust system. It sounds great. It's a little screamer though. It's pretty loud. So yeah, the bumpers are great. The one thing you want to do is, I got this off of somebody else, so this is not my idea, is to put a zip tie on this so it holds these two together, these two posts together. Otherwise they can spread apart, and those 2 little pins in there can come out, and your whole back end or front end is coming off. Because another good thing about this car is the front end and the rear end are exactly the same, just how the steering and the stuff goes together on them. Otherwise, the car is pretty simple. It's got a 2-speed transmission. You can tune it and adjust it through here. You definitely want to get a steel sprig right out of the box. That's one thing I didn't like about the car. You have to take the gear. When you first get the car, don't break it in when the engine's meshed up to the gear. Make sure the gears aren't touching, otherwise it'll strip the gear. Both times I broke the car and I stripped 2. The first time I broke it in with the original engine the car came with, I stripped a gear on the first tank, and I wasn't even driving, so I got a free gear. And the second engine, it stripped again, and we just got the steel gear. And then the third gear I went through was my friend was driving it, and it just stripped automatically. I don't know what the problem was there, but it just stripped on him, and like, wow, he paid me $20 to get the metal one though, so that was cool of him. The shocks are pretty good. The only thing I don't like about it is that the shock eyelets or the shock perches don't stay on very well. So you might find your car missing one on the field. So that might be something to look to find for an upgrade part. The brakes are pretty good. It's got a double fiberglass disc brake. Kind of hard to see, but after a few tanks of fuel, or after when you're done driving, pick up some of that nitro Mulchmore stuff. I'll get the bottle real quick. You want to spray it off with this stuff. It's a CO2 charged thing. I don't know if I have the bottle anymore, but it's worth the look, so I can show you guys. It's called Mulchmore, I think, and it's a great compound. It doesn't last very long, but it's a great can of stuff to have. It literally wipes paint, like spray paint off the thing, so careful with your bodies. You just want to clean those brakes off, and you'll have outstanding brakes every single time you drive it. The tank is pretty good. I hear mid-tank lean problems. You can always solve that by fixing how the fuel comes out or putting a second tank, I've heard. I haven't had any problems yet. I always tune my engine a bit rich, so I guess that might be why I haven't experienced. So when the engine gets to that mid-tank, it's already mid-tank leaning on me, so I just get more performance. But I don't know, I haven't really noticed anything with it. It's a twin vertical plate chassis, 2 vertical plates with a horizontal piece to hold the engine on. As you can see, there's a vertical plate, and then there's 2 to hold the transmissions to it. One thing you don't want to do with this car is get aluminum A-arms. I've heard so many bad things about them. My friend had aluminum A-arms on his car, and they just bent so easy it wasn't even funny. He used energy parts, and I don't think they're very good. But the shocks are the plastic is pretty good. I broke a shock rod, snapped it clean right where it threads into the eyelet here, and that's the only thing I've actually broken on the car worth talking about. I don't know how I did it, but I bent this the shaft that this spur gear goes onto. It's not. I'm gonna drive on it until it gets worse. I'm not gonna spend my money to fix too many parts on the car. But the car's extremely durable. Out of the box, the car comes with a 2.4 gig HPI radio. It gets you started out of the box, especially if you're a beginner. I'll take this off real quick so I can show you. This is not how the car comes. This is my cold air intake, ram intake. There's a hole in the body in the front, so I can stick the air filter right up the top. This radio system is really nice. It's an interlocking system, so it'll go on this way for the top, for the cover piece, and then you turn it left and right, if you will, whatever way you look at it, and then you can pop the receiver case off. I put a Spectrum system in it because my radio went bad. Cousins got a hold of the car. That's part of my bad luck. I put a new battery in there. That's a must-have. Like, when you get the car, that's the one thing you should buy while getting this car. The AA batteries get you started for your break-in, but you only get about a tank. I only got about a tank, 1 tank of fuel, and the batteries were dead. I didn't have any throttle or steering after 1 tank of fuel. I have a Team Associated or Reedy, whatever you want to call it, goes through the same company, system in it. My throttle servo died. I had to cut the wire, or it got cut, I mean, because it got stuck in the drivetrain, and I swapped my steering servo because it just wasn't powerful enough. It gets you started. I mean, the steering servo saver really isn't very good. It pretty much dies as soon as you start driving the car, so you have to take the front end off and tighten up that servo saver almost all the way for it to even work. I have a Futaba system. It's a Futaba S3004. It's a great servo. I had it in my ECX Tournament when I had to change the servos, and it was just so fast. Definitely recommend it. It's not waterproof. For steering servo, I have a Savox waterproof servo. It's great multi-purpose servo. So yeah, the car comes with a really nice air filter system. and it also includes an extra. It won't come built like this, but it'll come with the outside foam and the inside foam, the blue part you see. The only reason I have two is because I bought another engine, and the other engine comes with an air filter. I had to buy a new glow igniter because my other one died. I had a battery explode in it, so it melted it pretty much. This one's great. It's $10. It's a C-cell. The one the car comes with is a C-cell. This one just looks nicer. It doesn't really perform any better, but for $10 you get a really good start off of a C-cell. I went ahead and upgraded to a LiPo. This cost me like $25. The car comes with a cross wrench, and they strip real easy. Both of mine are stripped, so be careful with that. I'm gonna have to save the rest of my review for the next video, so I hope you guys like this video, and please watch my next one coming up soon. So watch part 2. See ya. Please subscribe.